Welcome to Conversations with Kay, where I just tell it like it is. I'm going to talk today about the interview Elle Bee did with Lorianne. Just my thoughts watching the video and my thoughts on what happened on Twitter before and after and all the craziness. I know I touched on some of this during my live, but it was kind of a weird time for a live. I decided to just hop on there and go live. I've got a lot of the tweets here for people that don't have Twitter. You can kind of see some of the stuff that's gone on. I've got Salsa's tweets here in response to what Lorianne was saying about him on the video. Okay, so let's just get down to it. My overall view of this interview is that it wasn't very well organized or put together, which kind of surprised me because Elle Bee had many days to prepare for this. And this is not a personal insult. It's just my opinion of it. It seemed very scattered, very last minute, but it wasn't last minute. That's what I couldn't understand. I mean, she would have done herself much better to have made an outline for herself of how she wanted that interview to go and probably stopped reading chat. Once again, people get distracted during lives reading the chat. I read the chat during a live, but I'm not doing an interview. In my opinion, they should have turned the live chat off, at least in the beginning, and done the interview, then turn the live chat on for questions and answers. Or even better, she could have taken questions ahead of time and then read them. It was just so all over the place. And I felt like, especially in the first hour, Elle Bee talked way more than Lorianne did. And the whole point was to hear what Lorianne said. But mostly we heard what Elle Bee said. So I think that kind of messed things up. Let's give just a short listen to the part of the interview.
I think it was PJ, and she's like, I'm like, do you guys think this looks like him? Because you can't find any. I think there's another Michael Saltz that's an attorney, and it looks way different. He looks way different. And then there was a picture of, I guess it was this Michael Saltz, but to me they didn't look like. And I had asked other people, I'm like, do you think that this looks like the same person? And PJ was one of the people that said, oh no, that's not the same person at all. So it was kind of like I had people behind me saying, yeah, that's not him, kind of like egging me on. And I fell for it, and I put my.
So there's, in my opinion, the problem with interviewing Lorianne. Once again, she's going to blame other people. Once again, she's the victim. Once again, she's not going to take any accountability for what she's done. And this is why I tried to say before, how do you interview somebody that's not credible? Are you just giving them a platform to spew more lies or play more games? Because that's how it kind of felt to me. I mean, we had to hear this whole thing again about how Lorianne feels that this whole thing was for clicks and views and money, which makes no sense. Backwoods Barbie said the same thing, that it wasn't a real lawsuit, and this is what Lorianne was hinting at, that this was just all them getting together to make money. That just sounds ridiculous to me. There would be no point, because I don't think Toddy's going to pay Mr. Saltz all this kind of money when she's not even on YouTube. So she's not getting clicks and views off this. I don't know. I mean, I guess she could on her old videos, but it just doesn't make sense. I'm all good for a good conspiracy theory, but it has to have some kind of basis in reality. And I just feel like that's so far out there. That's just, to me, not based in any kind of reality. I think, too, Elle Bee kept saying over and over, she was polite to her because she's going to be polite to anybody that comes on her channel for an interview. And I get that. But here's the thing. You can be polite and still ask hard questions, and you can be polite and still ask that somebody answer the questions that they're asked, because that's the point of an interview. I think Elle Bee was way too easy on her. It really wasn't an interview. In my opinion, it was more of Lorianne just putting more of her stuff out there and playing games again. That's how I feel. I mean, she was never made to really answer a question. She deflected a lot, played the victim a lot, put some more BS stuff out there. I mean, there was a point where they were confronting her about what Saltz was saying on Twitter, and she, again, just makes up some BS about why she sent Saltz these tweets thanking him, telling him what a great job he did, how thankful she is, and then she's on Elle Bee channel just ripping him to shreds. Somebody make it make sense. Here's the thing, too, that's so odd to me. For somebody who claims that this so affected her mental health and her real life, why on earth would you go on YouTube and get it started all over again? You know, there was a point in time where I agreed with Katie that people should maybe take the videos down that they made with Lorianne's name in them. I was wrong. I was wrong. I will fully admit I was wrong. Because this woman loves attention. I think even the part where she was saying how she explained to somebody how many YouTube videos have been made about her, she liked it. She definitely likes it. Some people just got to have drama in their life or they're not happy. I have had people in my own life like that. And Lorianne really strikes me as somebody got to have some drama going on or life's just not good. I don't know why people are like that, but I've had experience with too many, and I had to get them out of my life because I'm not about that. But she can't claim to not want all this attention and then go on a channel to get more attention. You can't have it both ways. It reminds me of the saying, you can't be stupid and smart at the same time. You either are stupid or you're smart. So, yeah, Lorianne, this just doesn't even make sense. And I just hope, I know a lot of my subs also sub to Elle Bee, and I don't want anybody to think that this is a personal assault on her, because it's not at all. And I did talk to her when she came in my live. She was only in there for a few minutes. She asked me to change the title of my live, so I did. I have no problems with her, and I have no problems with people watching whoever they want to watch. That's the good life, right? I don't get into these fights where, you know, there's been a lot of creator fights lately about us versus them and all that. I don't do that. Everybody should go watch whoever they want to watch. And I've always thought Elle Bee was a nice person. I just didn't like the interview. I just didn't feel like it was an interview. It just didn't seem like Lori was made to really answer anything or have any kind of accountability for her part in anything. Also, I want to apologize for all the mowing sounds. I've been waiting all day, but every neighbor I have is mowing today. So there's just nothing I could do about it. Sorry about that. I also want to, I've got the tweets here from Lorianne's ex-husband when he was kind of going nuts on Twitter to Leslie. And I told Leslie, and she knows, that I agreed with several of the things that he said. I do feel like that initial video that Elle Bee did should have never mentioned him or her kid or anything else. I think that's what caused trouble. Hopefully this won't come to bite her in the butt. I hope not, because like I told her during my live, and you guys know I've said this a million times, lawsuits are messy, stressful, and expensive, even if you win. They're never worth it. Never worth it. So I do feel like, you know, I could see why he would be upset, because if you read his tweets, there's a long history here with Lorianne and alleged DV. So if that's true, then I can understand why he was so upset. Now, some of you know I offered him to come on my channel and tell his side, and he said he would, and then he kind of backed out and said that he was contacted by some major channels and hinted that he was going to go on those, but then never did. And then I've got, at the end here, the tweets he made today, pretty much saying he was going to enjoy his family for the weekend. I mean, I hope he's not going to go after Elle Bee, because nobody needs that in their life. I don't know everything that transpired between them, so I'm not saying anything here that I didn't already tell Elle Bee, I would have gone and edited that video, or I would have just taken it down, because that video wasn't a big deal. It was just a video of her talking about Lorianne coming on her channel. So to me, I would have either gone and edited out everything I said about him and the child, or I would have just taken it down, because that was not a major video. That's not a hill I would want to die on. That's not a video I would want to risk a lawsuit over. You know, he showed emails and stuff that he had sent her and yada yada. You guys probably, most of you probably saw that. I mean, and now people are saying he's not real. And I get the paranoia because there's so many sock accounts on Twitter. But I feel like this guy's real. Who would go to all this trouble if he's not real? Because he was pretty upset. And he said over and over, he's just trying to protect himself, his wife, and his child. And anybody that's been involved with DV knows that can be a scary thing. I mean, maybe I'm naive and this is a sock account and this person made this whole thing up, but I don't think so. I would still love to talk to him. If you're out there and listening, you're welcome on my channel anytime. And I will point out, I was the only one in public that offered to have him come on my channel and tell his side. Because most of the people on Twitter were pretty much bashing him. So I was one of the few that wasn't bashing him. I could see both sides. I'm usually that way, though, and you guys know that. If you've watched any of my videos, I can see both sides of an issue for sure. And I feel like that's why a lot of times I can mediate things. But back to Lorianne. I think she played this whole thing like a fiddle. She got exactly what she wanted. She got to put out more, in my opinion, damaging statements about people. Will Saltz take it further? I don't think he will. But if I was Lorianne, I wouldn't have taken the chance. She seems pretty confident that he's not going to come after her. Probably he's got bigger fish to fry. But again, I keep telling people, why risk being in a lawsuit over this stupid stuff? I don't get it. Especially after she's already had experience in a lawsuit that supposedly stressed her out so bad that it affected her health. Yeah. And one other thing I want to point out too that kind of bothered me was Elle Bee bringing up Nat. And I don't want to talk about that too much. I just felt like she should never even have brought that up. I just didn't feel that was right at all. I just think some things people need to leave alone, and that's probably one of them. That's just, I felt the same way about Lorianne when I heard that her health was in jeopardy. But apparently she's fine. So now I'm not feeling that way about Lorianne, because if she can go on Elle Bee's channel and start putting out more disparaging remarks about everybody, then she's fine, right? We don't need to worry about her anymore. Because I was worried about her. I never want anybody to be harmed or injure their health over this silly stuff on YouTube. You know what I mean? During that entire interview, Lori acted very unaffected, very much, I'm right, everybody else is wrong. Had no problem putting very disparaging remarks about multiple people. So apparently she was not as affected by the lawsuit as we were led to believe, because she seems fine to me. She seems more than fine, I would say. She just didn't seem bothered at all, like, so many of us were led to believe when all this was going on. And it must not have affected her too much, because why would you go out and start it all over again and attack Saltz? And, it's just never good to attack attorneys. I wouldn't do it, because I have better things to do than get involved in a lawsuit. That would be my last wish. So yeah, the whole thing was a little bit bizarre to me. I wish she would have been asked some hard questions. I wish she would have been called to actually answer questions and not just deflect and play the victim. Now, these are all just my opinions. These are not facts, should never be construed as facts. So just my opinions about what I heard during the interview. And like I said, you can see the rest of the tweets here at the end. You can pause the video if you want to read them. But just wanted to get this out there, how I felt about it all. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I think I'm going to try to go live tomorrow night. Let me know if you guys can make it. And have a wonderful evening. Hold your family close.